chapter 105 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse is currently out, and another solid chapter. We got to see more characters, and we got to see what happened with Lancelot's group, as well as a little mystery in that section as well, and building up to who Percival actually is, as well as giving us more insight on Percival's time in the Demon Realm. And honestly, I kind of liked the interactions throughout this chapter. It was really nice. It was kind of wholesome also and a little comedic as well. But it was a relatively quick chapter to get through, and there wasn't any action scenes. But I'm liking the build that we're getting for potentially something happening with Percival and some truth behind him. Before I get into the actual review, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps and it shows you guys like the content I make on this channel. And I love making these weekly reviews for Four Knights of the Apocalypse for you guys. With all that said and done, let's hit that intro and get right into the chapter. So chapter 105 of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, titled A Demonic Welcome. And we start off with Lancelot, Tristan, Chion, and Isolde, and the horse Escanor, as they have been restrained by the demons that, well, met them as they came into the demon realm. As we see, it is the 6 Knights of Black, minus their leader, who brought Percival and co to Zeldris. And the onion-looking one with the long hair states that Io better be prepared to pay a price for bringing humans into their domain. Isolde notices that they can't see Gawain anywhere, but Chion is just like, I can't believe they took their weapons, who cares about Gawain, as Lancelot yawns. Now, first page of this chapter, I gotta notice, Isolde mentions Gawain is gone. Gawain can fly, so it's very likely that she's hiding out somewhere. People have brought up the fact that maybe Gawain is secretly a traitor. This comes in also with some dialogue later in the chapter, but I think it's very interesting to state that Gawain is nowhere to be found in this group. Tristan goes up to Lancelot and asks, why did you ask me to just not resist and let them capture us? Lancelot says, our enemies are Camelot, not the Demon Clan, right? And, well, Tristan says they might have other ideas, but Lancelot brings up the fact that Percival's group was probably captured as well, and their actions right here would probably put the rest of them in danger. The broccoli-looking knight, I honestly don't remember the names of the 6 Knights of Black, but the underling guy says, you, explain, why do I sense demon and goddess magic from you? Io states that, well, of course you'd sense both those magics from Tristan. He is the son of Meliodas, the 7 deadly sins after all. And the onion guy explodes with magical power and rage, saying that he's a Nephilim, this freak offspring from a demon and goddess, daring to step into demon lands. He must have a death wish. Obviously, Chion and Isolde are kind of, getting defensive over it. And there's one solemn image of Tristan, so obviously this does kind of bother him. But Io says, silence. You should know who he is then. And what's more, they rescue the lives of our brethren over in Camelot. The tiger one states, say what you will, they're our enemy, and nothing else. We'll execute them as an example, just like the other captives. And Io mentions, would you say that if you knew those captives included Percival? As all the demons in the background are like murmuring over this, and Chion and Isolde notice that they know that they're reacting to the name, and the 6 Knights of Black react, the Percival, shocked that he is here, as we know that Percival was in the demon realm when he was a baby. And Tristan and Lancelot are looking and wondering what's going on as well. We then cut to the Demon King's palace as we see Gelda in Four Knights of the Apocalypse for the first time, as she welcomes Percival with open arms, stating that he's grown. And this is just super wholesome. I honestly do believe that Percival's kind of been like a surrogate son for Gelda and Zeldris. I don't know if they have a kid yet or not, but the way they talk to him, the way they react to him, it's just super wholesome. I said this in the last chapter review, but it's just very, very wholesome. Gelda even holds him up, saying that he's grown a lot and is very bouncy as always. On notices that Gelda is the queen of the demon realm. Donnie's like, how does this kid know all the royalty in this place? And Zeldris brings up it was roughly 14 or 15 years ago, so when Percival was like 1 or 2, he honestly wandered into the demon realm and he ended up living there for a while. And on notices, that's probably how he learned the demon language. Nazians mentions that, yeah, kids do tend to pick things up very fast. Gelda states that the Percival's helmet is very lovely and that it looks very good on a kid like him. Percival says that it's his grandpa's, and she says, that's good you made it back and met your grandpa, right? Percival says, yeah, when I got back, he was so happy he cried. He said he couldn't thank both of you enough. But then Percival stops and says, not long ago, Grandpa died. As Gelda tries to console him that people can live such short lives, and then Percival just states that he was killed. Killed by Ironside of Camelot. Obviously, Percival can't pronounce Camelot for some reason, so he keeps saying Camemot. As Donnie just says, yes, sir, it's Camelot, he mentioned. Gelda goes over to Zeldris and says, who is this Ironside? And Percival mentions that it's his father. As he goes on to say that it's weird, isn't it? My father trying to kill his own son, killing Grandpa when he tried to protect me. My whole family is just so, well, like, messed up. As, you know, Donnie, Nazienz, and Ann are, like, looking down, being like, oh, Percival, I'm really sorry you have to say this, bud. Because this is still a fresh wound, because, in all honesty, at least, everything that happened to Percival up till now was well over a month ago, if I'm counting right. I'm putting this within a month, but yeah. But then Zeldris says, no, it's not strange at all. As he goes over his past, him and Meliodas, as he says, long ago, I was virtually a puppet for my father. I gave up all hope. So my brother and I ended up striking him down. Which, yeah, in a sense, the brothers worked together to take down their father. Even though Zeldris was kind of, you know, it was a mental battle against the Demon King, and Meliodas and the rest of the Sins were more or less a physical fight against the Demon King while trying not to kill Zeldris. And then they killed the kaiju monster he became afterwards. But Percival's like, but if you did it, it must have been really hard for you too. Zeldris says, well, of course, I agonized over it. But in the end, it was necessary in order for me to move forward. It let me protect this realm and live together with Gelda. As we all know, the Demon King was an asshole. And he kind of forced the demons and the goddesses to be in a never-ending war, treated Zeldris and Meliodas like puppets and future vessels, and didn't allow Zeldris to be with the woman he loved, even telling him to execute all of the vampires. Zeldris then mentions that, I'm sure the same is true for you, Percival. I know losing your grandpa must have been tough for you, but right now I know, I can see it in your face, you're far bigger and far stronger than you were back then. As we get a nice little collage of all the moments of Percival's journey leading up to now, with all the people that he's met. And then Percival just has a really nice smile and says, yeah, thanks, as Zeldris just pats him on the head. I can't say this enough. These interactions are so wholesome, I love it. But anyway, we cut to the throne room, where Zeldris confirms that they want to go and travel to Camelot. Percival, sitting on the side of the throne, is like, yeah, it's true, there's a path to Camelot from here, right? And yeah, Gelda says there is. Something unusual happened a couple months ago, and they don't know why. But we now have a link between our dimension and the one Camelot resides in. Percival's like, we want to head over there right away. But Gelda states that presents some tricky problems though. As, yeah, there are some problems to get there. But Percival just goes up to Zeldris' face and like, okay, fine, but I want to see our other companions first. Come on, please. But Zeldris like, oh yeah, right. The 4 Knights of the Apocalypse. The Knights of Prophecy on a secret mission for Leonis. Can I ask you to confirm their names for me? People from Camelot may try to mix in with them, you see. And well, yeah, I'm going to see. This is probably going to be a potential conflict because Gawain is from Camelot and is Arthur's niece. So I feel like that's going to be a whole thing eventually. Everyone else probably going to be fine, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But then they begin to list Lancelot, Tristan, Gawain, and they even mention the horse Escanor. And Nazienz mentions Isolde and Chion, their attendants. Gelda recognizes the name Tristan, and Zeldris like, huh, my brother's son? As Percival's like, you're what? And Zeldris just mentions casually, yeah, Meliodas is my older brother, which shocks everyone in the room, being like, the King of Leonis is the Demon King's older brother. But then Andin does kind of realize, oh yeah, your faces look almost exactly alike. Which, yeah, it's honestly kind of funny. Gelda mentions, wait, weren't there supposed to be 4 Knights of Prophecy? Who's the other one? And then Zeldris looks over at Percival and is like, don't tell me it's you, Percival. And Percival's like, yep, I'm one of them too. And to prove it, I've been given this by Meliodas, as he reaches for a sword and is like, what? And Donnie, Ann, and Nazienz realize, wait, what? As Percival realizes he lost his Percival sword. It's gone. This was actually mentioned in the last chapter review by someone in my comments, but I did not recognize it, and I feel so stupid for not realizing this sooner. But Percival's sword is gone. It's such a important detail that I'm still kicking myself a week later that I did not notice this. But yeah, Percival is panicking that he lost the sword, and everyone else is panicking as well. How'd you lose it? Where'd you lose it? That's why I told you to give it back to the king, Donnie says. As Zeldra's like, the Percival sword? Hans explains it's a sword with a piece of the demon binding coffin of eternal darkness in the hilt. As yeah, Zeldris and Gelda know this very well, and Nazianz forebodingly states that Camelot has all the other remaining pieces. If Percival's sword makes it back to them, then and Zeldris begins to shiver down his spine and turn pale over the thought of what could potentially happen again. And Percival's gonna go out and look for it, and same with everybody else. Then Zeldris commands every demon in the castle to help Percival search for the coffin of eternal darkness's piece. As all the demons go rushing with Nazianz and Percival, as they all call Percival their savior. I was hoping to see you again, let us help you, our savior. As Nazianz wondering, they keep calling him their savior. What does Percival mean to the demon clan anyway? Who are you exactly, Percival? And that's something I want to know as well. We know that obviously he came to the demon realm on accident. He wandered in, and for probably maybe a year or two until he eventually found his way back to Vargas. But how exactly does this pertain to the demons? Obviously Percival, perhaps he's naturally immune to the miasma of the demon realm, or maybe Gelda and Zeldris used some magic to keep him safe while he was there. But what does he mean for the demon clan? That's something I'm very curious about, and I think this arc is going to set up a bunch of things for the origins of Percival and his greater significance to the plot. Because he does have some sort of connection to the demons with his whole past being stuck here, and almost every demon knowing who Percival is, and Zeldris and Gelda treating him like a son, more or less. So I am very curious to see what's going to happen next. They make it back to the Beehive Relic thing, where they fell in, and Percival wonders maybe it fell somewhere around here. And so everyone begins to cover the terrain to try and look for it. Then Percival comes up with the idea to have the mini Percivals search for the coffin's piece. This is a nice callback to the Zestana arc. When Percival first used his golems, they ended up finding the coffin of Eternal Darkness piece fairly easily without even him wanting to look for it. And Percival thought of this again, and maybe they'll be able to find the dragon piece. And so when Percival commands them to look for the dragon piece, the mini Percivals are very lazy and rebellious, being like, who made you our boss? That sounds like work. Look for it yourself, huh? And then Percival just begs them to go and do it, and they're like, well, whatever, let's go. As that ends the chapter. Honestly, nothing super climactic to the end of this chapter, but again, the interactions and the setup is what I'm looking forward to. I want to know why Percival is referred to as a savior, what's his significance to the demon clan, what exactly is going to happen with the demon sword, what's going to happen with the coffin of eternal darkness. Will the Camelot Knights venture into the demon realm, find the piece, and then book it and try to seal the demon realm? Or, and here's another option, Gawain being missing from the rest of the party, could she have gone back and led the Camelot Knights in? Maybe she is secretly a spy, or maybe she has no choice but to be a spy or a traitor. Or maybe she, as falling down, she saw Percival's sword on the ground, grabbed it and decided to keep it safe, and just began to wander around to try and look for Percival to give it back. Or maybe she's going to use it as a bargaining chip so Arthur doesn't kill her. Or maybe just to be like, okay, don't kill these guys, please. I'll give you the coffin of eternal darkness, you can steal the demon clan or whatever, just don't kill them, please. Because I don't know if Gawain doesn't have that big of a connection to the group. But she is a nice person, and I don't think she's going to want them to get, murdered by the Camelot Knights. And she is scared of Arthur, so there's that. Or Gawain is just hiding out at the entrance and she'll encounter Percival there as they're looking for the sword. Who knows? All I know is we're setting up for a big conflict, and the dragon handle is most likely going to be part of that conflict, especially with the 7 Chaos Knights coming to follow the rest of the group. That is, if they came into the demon realm. But yeah, that was the chapter. Another solid chapter. I like the interactions, I like the setup, and I can't wait to see what happens next. But what did you guys think of this chapter? What are your theories on Percival being the demon clan's savior? What do you think is going to happen with, well, the dragon handle and Gawain? Are the Chaos Knights going to venture into the demon realm? Are we going to see Zeldris and the 6 Knights of Black take on these Chaos Knights and then have the 4 Knights in company take them on in their stead to show how strong they are? Who knows? But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help, and it shows you guys like the content I make on the channel, and it encourages me to make more Fortnite videos. And with all that said and done, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all have an awesome day.